everyone, and welcome back to Lauren's Take. Okay, so today, as promised, I'm going to be doing my half of the year wrap-up video. So this is basically me talking about all of the books that I've read so far this year. I have to say, I think this is the first time I've ever gotten this high or this far in my reading challenge. I will say it usually takes me a year to read 30 books, but I have already done that. And it's kind of crazy. Today is July 6th. So I'm like 6 days late technically with this video, but it doesn't matter because we're doing it. And I'm so excited to talk about all of these books. I already did a first month video, but I'm going to do another video to remind you of all of those books in case you forgot. And I won't go into any synopsis of those or anything, but I read a lot of these books. A lot of these books, I will also say, were for class. I had a lot of reading in my spring semester this year, in my junior year. I don't know why. It was just a ton of reading, so I got through, like, full-on books. And some of these are books that I probably wouldn't read as usually in my everyday life, but I enjoyed them nonetheless, and they still contributed to my reading challenge, because I put it in there if I enjoyed it enough to talk about it. Some of them I didn't. There was like one that I just put in there because I did finish it, and it was like, I finished this, I'm including it. But yeah, so that's what it is. I also have like some handheld text, some handheld text, some I have just Kindle, so it was like a lot of back and forth, with that. But before we get into it, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and let's get into it. All right, so as I said before, we're going to go into the books that I first read in the first month in January. Some of these I forgot when I read them. I just knew I read them within the first half of the year. And so the first book, of course, was The Dragon's Promise, which is the sequel to Six of Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I told y'all it was okay. I didn't love it, but I finished it. It was good. We moved through it and everything like that. The next book that I read was Chamber of Secrets, which I did not get in preparation, but here it is. Chamber of Secrets was the next book that I read. Put that back where it is, or supposed to be. I then also kind of finished Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. This is Twilight in Edward's perspective. I'm going to be honest, I skimmed the last few pages of it, like the last 100 pages. I know how the book ends. I've read the book. I've seen the movies, I don't know how many times. I didn't need to read again. It was just going on too long. So this definitely by far has probably been my least favorite book of the year. It took me all of last year to read, and I finally finished it this year, and more so, I just skimmed it so I can say I was done and moved on, But we are moving forward, pretending none of that happened. The next book was Sarah Boateng's Guide to Vampire Hunting. I really enjoyed this novel. It was really cute. The sequel actually comes out in September, so I spent my review video on it because I'm definitely going to be reading this. I'm so excited to continue with it. All right, this is like the fastest I've gone. Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. In preparation for Chain of Thorns, I've decided to reread the first and second book. And so the second book, of course, is Chain of Iron. So I read these two novels, loved them as much as I did my little tabs and everything. I enjoyed myself tremendously with that. The next book that I read was The Blood of Olympus, the last book in the Heroes of Olympus series. As y'all know, last year I reread Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus, and I was literally reading all of House of Hades and finished it on the last day of 2022. And so, of course, I started Blood of Olympus in January and finished it in January. Loved it just as much as I loved it the first time, maybe even more. But yeah, so then I moved on to the next series in the Percy Jackson realm, if you will, and went to Trials of Apollo, started with The Hidden Oracle. Then I went to The Dark Prophecy, which I had started before, but never finished. And so I finally finished it then, and I really truly enjoyed it. And even though I've read Burning Maze later, not like right after Dark Prophecy, I'll just have it right here because I have it right here. I finished The Burning Maze, which made me cry. Yo, oh my gosh. This thing made your girl cry. I really didn't know. I knew what was going to happen to Jason. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I think actually sitting and going through the pain of it, it was painful, to be completely honest with you. And yeah, I was so depressed about it and so sad about it, but we got through it somehow, some way. But yeah, that was a hard one. That was a really hard one. But next book, of course, was my most awaited novel of 2023, or at least the first half of 2023, and that was Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare. All of my tabs. Oh my gosh, y'all. I was just thinking about it yesterday when I was like preparing myself to do this video, and I was like, oh my gosh, am I gonna reread it? I don't know. I probably won't reread it this year. I may reread it next year, but I am planning on rereading Shadowhunters, which is all up there. Again, because I like forgot a lot of stuff, and I was talking to one of my friends, and we were bonding, and she was bringing up stuff that I had completely forgotten about. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really need to do a reread. But anyway, that's what happened. And so I had actually read The Burning Maze right after Chain of Thorns because I wanted to continue with Trials of Apollo. I started the 4th book, but I think I'm so sad about Jason that I haven't like really read it because I know it's going to be really depressing overall. So yeah, eventually I'll probably read it this summer. I've been reading really fast this summer and enjoying it, enjoying the life, everything. But yeah, so then the next book that I read was Shadow and Bone in preparation for, of course, Shadow and Bone season 2, which I loved. It was so good, so good. As y'all know, I already did my review. If you haven't watched that review, please go back and watch it. I don't think a lot of people's watched it, so please go watch it. I would love for you to do that. And yeah, so then for my Black Studies seminar class, I read The Souls of Black Folk. I have read this in the past, or at least parts of it, but this is the first time I've read the full novel by W.B. Du Bois, which was a really good read. Good stuff in there. After that, I read the... Ooh, child, I'm going fast. The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Again, this is from my Black Studies seminar class. We had to read a lot of texts that were kind of putting forth the first real voices of Black Studies. And so I enjoyed the class for that aspect. I never had really, like, even though I had taken plenty of classes for my Black Studies minor, this was like the first class in which we were really kind of talking about what really is Black Studies, what's the purpose behind it and everything. And so all of the novels we read and texts that we read connected to that. So that was The Miseducation of the Negro. I apologize, someone randomly emailed me. The next book that I read was Thank You for Sharing, and it was actually an advanced reader's copy. I'm trying to see if I can find it on my Kindle. I cannot. I think I probably already returned it because I finished it and everything. I really enjoyed that novel. Thank You for Sharing by Rachel Runya Katz, I believe her name was. It was such a good book. It was so cute. It was a both of the characters were Jewish, but the female main character is half Black, half Jewish. And then the other character, her love interest, Daniel, I know his name was Daniel. He was like, I think he was half Korean, half Jewish. So I thought it was just really cool because it was like one of the first love stories that I had read where both main characters were Jewish, and then them talking about being biracial, you know, with like another ethnicity plus being Jewish and kind of their experience with that. So it was a really good novel, and it was just a really cute love story too. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I was so excited that I was able to read the advanced reader's copy of that and then continued on. So that was like a fun read in the mix of all the theories and whatnot. And then I went right back into it with Afrocentricity. I'm going to be honest, this is probably my least favorite book that I read. This man, Lord, he got some issues he got to work out, but we ain't going to talk about it. I read it, we moved on, and that's all that matters. Then I also read, one second. So it was Race Matters by Cornel West, who is now in the presidential race. Okay, I'm not going to go into, I don't talk politics on the channel, but that was just really funny to me. I was just like, wow, I just sat and read all this stuff that this guy was thinking about. I'm like, oh, okay. Then next, I read Can't Catch a Break, which is Gender, Jail, Drugs, and the Limits of Personal Responsibility. This was for my mass incarceration course that I took. Loved that class, loved the professor. I've had so many classes with that professor, but anyway, this was a really good book. It was, again, a lot of tabs and whatnot. It really kind of put into perspective a lot of the things that women have to go through in general, but then when you add their different intersectionality of identity combined with that, plus if they've had been arrested in the past, if they've been in jail in the past, if they've had drug addiction in the past, like, this text was so informational, but in such a different way than we usually think about it. So I really enjoyed reading this. It was tough to read. It was a lot of dark stuff going on, but it was really good nevertheless. So then the next one I read, I don't have the Kindle version or the handheld version. I read it on this website that our professor gave us. It was called Pipeline. It was a play about the school to prison pipeline. That was also for my mass incarceration class. Really enjoyed that play. We actually had an actor come who had performed it at one of the theaters in my state. So I thought that was really cool that we were able to hear from one of the actors who actually portrayed the main character. And I enjoyed reading a play again. You know, I had a theater background at one point in time, and so that was really fun and really cool. But yeah, so next up, we are running through this, y'all. I think this is the fastest I've ever done. All right, so The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander, which is mass incarceration in the age of colorblindness. This was really good. I really enjoyed The New Jim Crow because, again, it's a similar situation with Can't Catch a Break. In the sense, it really makes you realize the intersections of identity and what it means when you are a Black person in America, and when you have something negative such as having a drug charge or, you know, having to go to jail for that, even if it was a really minor infraction, and what ends up happening to you afterwards. And I think this novel was extremely helpful to really put that into perspective. Not trying to sway you at all, but it's just eye-opening. That's what I will say. Then next, I read Prison Is Obsolete by Angela Davis. I really enjoyed this text. Again, this is for my mass incarceration class, as was The New Jim Crow. That had the title in the title, but this was really good as well. I love Angela Davis. She's amazing. But that was a really good text. So those are all the texts I had to read for class. I told you, it was a lot. We were running through those things. It was definitely probably my most reading heavy semester, and I'm shocked. I had a book in there that I read for pleasure, you know. Well, I think I had read Shadow and Bone during that time. I read Shadow and Bone, I think, like in the first couple weeks of the semester. I had read Thank You for Sharing Within It. I think Burning Maze. I may have read Burning Maze like right into the beginning. I don't know. But it was like, I still got 3 books, but that's not the point. But we're going to take a pause and go to the next few that I've started. The next are all little books I've read so far this summer. All right. So next I read The House of Marion as an advanced reader's copy. I'm just showing you that because it was, again, an advanced reader's copy via NetGalley. I really love this novel. I am planning on doing a review for it once the book comes out because I don't want to give spoilers to anyone, but I really enjoyed this one. I already put my review on Goodreads, so if you want to check that out, I'll put my links for Goodreads in the description box below in case you do want to kind of see what my thoughts were on it, because those are like my quick, this is what happened, this is what I enjoyed, this is what I didn't like, all that stuff. Though I really enjoyed the book. It was really, really good. Fantasy. I was so excited. So anyway, yeah. Then the next book, why did I put my Kindle up? Because it was on my Kindle again. Now this was a text that I had gotten an advanced reader's copy of, yet I did not read until this year because I had gotten it like right when school started last year in fall semester, and was not able to read it, but it was really cute, really cute. This is just Bet On It by Jodie Slaughter. Slaughter or Slater? I'm pretty sure it's Slaughter though, because it's spelled like slaughter. BWWM situation. Also, Sister Girl was plus size, which I loved because I'm plus size and I really vibed with that. It was a really cute, really quick read. I think I literally read it in a day. I was reading it when I had gotten my hair done for braids that you'll see in my Disney video. But yeah, I really enjoyed that book. It was so cute, adorable. I enjoyed it. But yeah, so the next book that I read was A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, here's what I will say. Y'all are gonna kill me for this. This was the first time I read it. I had not read the series yet, even though I knew how popular it was. I knew it was about fairies, and I was like, I don't know about fairies. I'm just not from Shadowhunters. I was like, they're there, but I wasn't that inclined or whatever. But y'all, this book, messed me up. And it's so funny because then I read the rest of them, of course, and so I'm going to go into it, but I read the rest on my Kindle. So I had started this right before we went to Disney. I started it literally, I think now 4 weeks ago on a Thursday. I had gotten through like maybe 100 or so, maybe 150 pages right before we went to Disney. I sat and read that whole book, the rest of the book, the rest like 300 or so pages on our way to Florida that day. I did not take many breaks. I think I took like one nap break, but then I fell asleep, and then when I woke up, went back to finish it, and I finished it. But oh my gosh, was it good. Because then the second book, I had started when we were in Florida, but then when I was coming back, I sat and binge read this thing. I'm trying to get to it. There we go. At first, I was saying the third one was better than the fourth. I mean, the third one was better than the second one, but after much consideration, the second one was my fave, because this was all of Feyre and Rhysand glory. It was everything. Their whole connection, the whole love story, the whole vibe, everything. I was vibing, crying, all the things. And then next, I read, of course, A Court of Wings and Ruin. So that one was really good, of course, because this was kind of like everything happening. And then I read A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is the novella in the middle of the third and the fourth full book. Don't go by what the like Amazon tells you or Barnes and Noble or whatever, because technically, because I had always thought it was 5 books, it's not. It's really 4 with the novella, and the novella is A Court of Frost and Starlight. Of course, that was the slowest one, but since since A Court of Thorns and Roses is her and Tamlin, Feyre and Tamlin, we don't talk about that one. Like, it's there, and it was good, but it's like one of those books, if I ever come back to reread the series, which I probably will because it was so good, I probably won't read the first one because it's so uncomfortable, and it's just like, oh my gosh, once you see what Tamlin has done in the future, like, I don't know about that. And then we read A Court of Silver Flames. Oh my gosh. That one messed me up. It messed your girl up, y'all. I'm not even kidding. I loved it though. It was everything. And yeah. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. But once I finished all of those lovely books, I went into a new series, which I will probably continue reading. I read the very last book like 2 years ago, The Party of Two. This is the Wedding Date series by Jasmine Guillory. So each novel features black female main character and another guy, right? The first one is a black female character, white male love interest. The second one is a black female main character, Latino male love interest. The third one is black love all day long. The fourth one, I think, is BWWM again, and the last one is BWWM again. So, I loved it. I first read The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory, which featured Alexa and Drew's story, and I will say their story is probably like the overarching one, because it has connections in all of them. Literally. I think the only one that it doesn't really have that big of a connection is the fourth one, which apparently is Maddie's mom and something. Yeah, I just know that from the description. I haven't gone into the third book or the fourth book yet. I plan on reading them. But I really enjoyed The Wedding Date. It was really cute. I finished it really quickly. Alexa and Drew were adorable. And then I just finished The Proposal yesterday, which got me to my full 30 books so far this year. I love it. I really loved it. I loved The Proposal. It was so cute. And I also read that one really fast as well. They were really quick reads compared to the to A Court of Thorns and Roses series, but yeah. All right, y'all. That was the fastest wrap-up video I could do because y'all know I had to talk at one point in time. But I read a lot of great books so far. Some of them were a reread. Most of them were new, though. Most of them were new, which I was really excited. Again, a lot of these were textbooks that I had to read for class, or they're novels, I would like to say, or books, you know. I don't want to really call them textbooks because I enjoyed most of them. And they all were very thought-provoking, but I also read a lot of love stories. Read a lot of scandalous stuff. Court of Thorns Roses, I'm looking at you. As well as you, Chain of Thorns. But it has been a really great year so far of reading. I used to read like this when I was back in like 7th grade. Like that was when I really loved reading because things are going on and I really turned to reading to kind of get away from all of it. And so this year, even though I've been kind of in a weird place mentally, I was glad to be able to read as much as I have been, and this summer has been everything because I've been able to read as much as that I used to do. And so I hope I can keep up the momentum. I may have to up my challenge because I'm definitely probably going to hit the 40 books. So I may up it to 50, maybe up it to 60 because I think I can do it. If I've read 30 books so far this year, I think I can do it. So we may up the challenge a bit. Maybe give me a little more like, something to do because I thought 40 books was going to be hard to do because I barely got to 30 last year. And I don't even think I got to 30 last year. So I don't know. We may change it. But as of now, I have read 30 books out of 40. Technically, it's 31. Well, technically, it is 30. The reason on Goodreads, if you look at me, you follow me or whatever, it says like 31 is because when I read Shadow and Bone, I had read some of it on my Kindle because I was away from my book at home because I didn't realize I was going to be reading it and at school and forgot my book for some reason. And so I had to go to the Kindle version that has the first 3, like Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, and Rise and Ruin. No, Ruin and Rising, my bad. And in order to get what I needed to read. And so it counted that as a book that I finished, but it didn't. And I tried to edit it, but it wouldn't let me. So that's why it says 31. But I was honest in this video and told you that it's really been 30 books that I have read. But yeah, it's been a great year so far of reading, and I can't wait to do more. I'm currently reading Almost There by Farah Vachon, which is the kind of like twisted tale for A Princess and the Frog. As y'all know, I love Princess Tiana. And in my video, there are like a lot of my Disney vlog that I'm actually currently editing. It has a lot of just random things of Princess Tiana because I love Princess Tiana. That is the end of this video. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Wait, I did that so out of order. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't give it a thumbs down. That's just rude. Also, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And I shall see you very soon in the next video. I hope y'all are doing well. I hope you are enjoying your summer, getting some rest. Make sure you read a book or two. And I shall see you in the next one. Okay, bye.